Welcome back to the news from Kazakhstan. I'm Askar Sharaliyev. Today is March 20th and these are the headlines. The arrest of Alga party leader Vladimir Kozlov and activist Serik Sapargali has been extended for another month. They are charged with inciting social hatred. Tamara Yergazieva, the wife of the arrested oil field worker, is sentenced to 2 months of home arrest for threatening a police officer. The former presidential candidate Musagali Duambekov calls the pro-governmental parties to dissolve voluntarily. Aul movement leader Narekbayev has already resigned. Winter has settled back in most parts of Kazakhstan. A storm warning has been issued in Astana due to blizzards. 5 state highways have been closed and slight warming is expected only by the upcoming holidays. The judge presiding over the case of Vladimir Kozlov, the leader of the political party Alga, currently pending registration, and activist Serik Sapargali has defined their crime as against peace and safety and of humanity. The arrest of both men has been extended by another month. Human rights activists believe the extension shows that the investigation lacks evidence against crime.
Roman Askarov, the conscript from Almaty, has served in Pavlodar for a little more than 3 months, but has already been hospitalized quite a few times. Hazing is thriving in the military unit 6679, says the conscript. Old-timers have been beating up and humiliating new recruits on a regular basis. However, the command either doesn't know about what's going on in barracks at nights or just doesn't care. 3 or 4 guys could take turns kicking one in the head. One guy comes up, kicks 2-3 times, then leaves. Then another comes up and kicks him 2-3 times in the head. That's how it is. Roman's mother, Kulaysha, says that her son joined the army voluntarily. He wanted to get a job at the prosecution agency after the service. The young man did not complain at first, but right after the loyalty oath had started asking his parents to transfer him to another unit. He told me everything later, that the video monitoring was turned off after 12. They start beating up everyone when they are sleeping. There are 30 senior conscripts. Even when recruits are sleeping, they bend them over and kick them in the head. It's always in the head. According to the soldier's family, they appealed to a private clinic before hospitalizing the young man. They are said to have detected a spine trauma. However, the patient was diagnosed with the lumbar chondrosis and disc protrusion in the public hospital. This is a metabolic degenerative disorder that cannot occur all of a sudden, but physical exercise load might be some sort of a triggering factor. The military unit representative said that the officers are just as willing to find the guilty of assault in barracks as the victim's family. The command also mentions that it's necessary to determine the suspects first. As the unit commanding officer, I'm personally very interested in finding those who, according to what the parents say, were tormenting the recruit. I want to find this soldier, and if he exists, I want to put him on trial. The military attorney department is currently investigating the incident. As for Roman Askarov's parents, they want their son to be transferred to serve in another unit. They are afraid that otherwise the old-timers won't leave him alone until he becomes completely disabled.
On March 19th, director Bulat Abilov, leader of the movement Ruh Pentil Janbolat Mamay, and recently released journalist Igor Vinyavsky took part in an online discussion over at Gulzhan.org website, talking about amnesty and clashes in Mangistau region on December 16th. The representatives of mosques all around the region solidly supported annual blood donation campaign. The reason for such charity is a lack of volunteer donors. Imam Bolatbek Nurmanov, a regular visitor to this blood donor center, believes that people's unwillingness to donate blood is in fact not caused by overwhelming fear of syringe needle and doctors. Why people do not donate blood? I believe because of their busyness and worldliness. People remain indifferent until they understand that misfortune may happen to anyone. Donor Saidulan came to blood center for a good reason. His newborn nephew urgently needed blood components. Saidulan admits that he never thought of blood donation before this case. From now on I will donate blood more frequently as so many people need help. I just had no time to come to blood center before. At present, blood supply service in Kazakhstan requires support and volunteer help. According to the blood center representatives, blood donation must become one of social norms.
Blood donation is still problematic as it's not voluntary. Many donors donate blood for money and it is in their interest. Moreover, they may conceal diseases and infections. Current annual blood stock amounts to 12,000 liters. Imam's mass donation brought additional 40 liters to the blood bank. Muslim religious leaders intend to arrange such activities annually and call for joining donation.
Kazakhstan's intellectual elite demands to stop the persecution of the regime's political opponents and asks for a fair trial over the tragic events in the Mangistau region on December 16th. The statement was made during the forum Spirituality, Independence, Modernization.
The house of Janat Temirova was flooded on the very first spring day. The water then reached above knee level. The children were rescued by the firemen. Now all her dreams about home have been washed away. The symbolic name of the street the family lives on, Susi, meaning water reservoir, turned out to be prophetic. While the households were underwater, Zhanaozen rural administration has placed victims into an orphanage. The dwellers of 11 households and their children remained under the care of the orphanage for 2 weeks. Officials had promised that in the meanwhile they would assist with the necessary belongings and clothing as well as accommodation. They told us in the orphanage that they could not afford to feed us any longer. They said, go to talk to head of the rural administration. He did come here, requested a list of who needs what. We gave him the list, but there is no result inside. He promised to bring school uniforms to our children, told us that he would do everything properly. They came from the local education authority, had a look around and then left. I keep phoning them, but they either wouldn't pick up the phone or keep saying that they would come later, that's all. We went to see the administrator, but he was away, so we were sent to his deputy. Right now, Jannat is sharing her house, which can collapse at any moment, with her sister. Akarashbek Turganov is also a single mother raising 2 children. She says there is no way she can go, and if not for her sister, the woman and her children would have ended up on the streets. From the moment of floods, all the aid by the local authorities was limited by the 2 packs of macaroni, a couple of loaves of bread and other insignificant stuff. No real support was rendered to the women, neither on the International Women's Day nor on the eve of Nowruz. Well, we went to the village head. He said there are no spare houses or hostels. He said that everything is destroyed. He only gave empty promises and went away. I wonder why he keeps the position of a village head at all. In response to the question of Kızılsay villages, what would happen with their houses, the Zhanaozen town had said a quiet room of promise that the victims will get help eventually. They only need to wait for the results of flood committee inspection. We have the money to pay, but we have to find out the estimate first. After that, we'll help everyone. But the committee will be finding out where the houses were built. So if they will find some infringements, I cannot promise you any help from the budget. If the designated committee will make a decision, then I will help you. We do have the money. The fact of the budget funds availability, but their use outside of intended purpose, was recently confirmed by the financial police of the Mangistau region. Zhanaozen and its outskirts were recognized as nearly the most corrupted area in the region. The former head of Kızılsay village was sentenced to 7.5 years for exaction of a bribe to facilitate the sale of land. The family of Janat Temirova is one of the victims as a result of such manipulations. As it turned out, the plot of land where the house of the village is built was not designated for residential construction, only for agricultural use.
Last night, members of the International Committee Zhanaozen 2011 Galim Agileov and Erlan Kaliyev arrived in Zhanaozen. There, the activists expressed their opinion about the upcoming trial in Aktau. They believe the authorities are trying to obstruct oil field workers' families from participating in the hearing.
Traffic attorney of Karaganda assured that each and every complaint lodged by businessmen regarding freight transport will be addressed. 10 officials and seniors said the regional stations have already been made accountable for corruption issues. The inspections resulted in compensating damages for the businessmen in the amount of around 2 million tenges. Businessmen have to pay virtually for everything, including the transit to cargo holds via private premises and notification of cargo arrivals. On top of that, employees at the station take every opportunity to get richer off the businessmen. More than 50 incidents have been revealed when businessmen were charged for unrequested wagon cleaning. The road department in Karaganda has said that cases like these or the manifestation of the human factor. This happens because our employees do not have the complete knowledge. Some of them either skip some parts of the manual or never read until the end. When it comes to human factor on the roads, it never works towards providing free services, businessmen say. It seems to me that money is like a magnet. It is always drawn into your own pocket. While internal investigations are being conducted, businessmen are being comforted. An ad hoc program on transit planning has been introduced. All further information can be obtained on the internet, although an electronic signature, which currently can be issued by only one bank, is needed for that.
The leader of the political party Adilet, Maksut Narikbayev, has stepped down from his position. Among other things, Narikbayev is famous to telling President Nazarbayev that they are both very motivated to go on despite their age. Apparently the time has changed and now the chief lawyer feels he needs a break. Meanwhile, Narikbayev's former assistant and ex-presidential candidate Musagali Duambekov has made a statement asking all Kazakh pro-governmental parties, Adilet including, to dissolve voluntarily.
Ex-chair of Adilet political party Maksut Narikbayev has decided to quit his political career 2 months after the defeat in the parliamentary elections. It all looks like a Yeltsin affair in Russia a few years back. However, Narikbayev claims that the real reason behind this move is different. It sounds a bit utopian for Kazakh realities, where the program of the party is always placed above its leaders' ambitions. I am still a member of the party, but the future remains to be seen. Nevertheless, I am quitting big politics. People of Kazakhstan see Adilet party as a party of Narikbayev. The real reason behind my action is that I think we have to finally approach political culture where people are not guided by the party leader, but focused on the program of a political party. Meanwhile, Tolekin Sidikov, who was appointed as the acting chairman of Adilet, already gave his first press conference in Pavlodar, the city where the party was founded in 2004. The new chair of the party claims that Narikbayev's leave has nothing to do with the results of the political campaign on the 15th of January. At the same time, Sidikov withheld the true causes behind the events. He still hinted at the involvement of the party's newcomers, who were used to reinforce the election race and then immediately removed from their positions after the campaign.
Мы причину знаем, почему так получилось.
We know the reason that stands behind this. First of all, our team was joined by people absolutely unknown to us. However, we were confident that these people are not radicals and that they keep constructive posture. This also influenced the results.
А будут держать принципы конструктивной позиции оппозиции. Это тоже повлияло на результат.
Meanwhile, one of the later deputies of Narikbayev, Musagali Duambekov, supports the decision of his former boss. Ex-presidential candidate notes that Adilet's popularity in the regions is quite low. At the same time, it seems that the state no longer needs Adilet at all. The environmentalist appeals to other parties loyal to the state that failed to make it into the parliament to follow Narikbayev and to dissolve voluntarily. The main reason is that Adilet party is no longer needed, and they realize this. So I appeal to the old chairmen of political parties such as Awil, Patriots, Ruhaniyat and Adilet to act honestly and wisely and to discontinue their party's existence. The powers of Tolekin Sidikov are yet to be approved at the party congress in October. However, already now Musagali Duambekov has no doubts that the choice has been made. Although according to him, the new chair of Adilet does not possess the quality of the leader. Resignation of Maksut Narikbayev is rather a consequence of the plans of the presidential administration. This is the first reaction of Kazakh political party system experts. At that, they are still awaiting the change in the nearest future.
This is all we have time for now. Please join us on K+ channel for daily news updates from Kazakhstan. We'll be also covering the entire Zhanaozen court proceedings starting March 26. Thank you for watching and goodbye.